Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage someone who truly symbolizes the American spirit and the power of that American spirit, an American dream. The great governor of the state of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal.
It is so great to be here with you today. I want to talk to you about the greatest damage that President Obama is doing to our country. Now, there's a long list of things we could put there. $18 trillion of debt. An EPA that's trying to strangle our private sector economy. Bureaucrats between doctors and their patients. Yet the most dangerous, most important thing this president is doing, he is redefining the very idea of America. You think about it, we are now celebrating government dependence. More people on food stamps than ever before, record low participation rate in the workforce. Every time this president speaks, it is all about more taxing, more spending, more borrowing, more regulating. It's all about redistribution. I don't know about you, but that is not the American dream that my parents taught me. I learned about an American dream where the circumstances of your birth don't determine your outcomes as an adult, where you don't have to be born. Where you don't have to be born to wealthy parents or in a wealthy zip code. I want to tell you my parents' experience. They have lived the American dream. I want to tell you this because this is an example of why it is so important for me to fight for that American dream for all of us. My dad is one of 9 children. Grew up in a house without electricity, without running water. First, I'm the only one of the family to get past the 5th grade. I know because we heard these stories every single day growing up. But here's the amazing thing. Nearly 45 years ago, the very first time my parents ever got on a plane, they came halfway across the world to come to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go Tigers, that's right. They had never visited. They didn't know anybody who'd gone to Louisiana and could come back and tell them what it was like. I try to tell my kids this, they don't understand. They couldn't go online and Google back then. There were no computers. My mom was pregnant with me. And yet they left behind their friends, their families, and their parents. They were coming to an idea as much as they were coming to a place. They were coming to the idea of freedom and opportunity. The American dream. When I landed in Baton Rouge, my mom went to school at LSU. My dad, he came here to work. Didn't know anybody, literally got his first job calling company after company in the Yellow Pages. 6 months later, I was born. I was what you would politely call a pre-existing condition when I was born. Now, there was no Obamacare, there was no contracts or paperwork, but I love what my dad did next. My dad went to Women's Hospital. He found that doctor. He said, I'm going to send you a check every month until I pay this bill in full. Shook hands with that doctor, and that's exactly what he did. Now, I don't know how that would work today. How do you pay for a baby on layaway? I mean, if you skip a payment, can they take the baby back? What do they do? My dad said, I was such payment, if that had been an option. The reason I tell you that, my parents came here to chase the American dream. They caught the American dream. They have lived the American dream. That is what this election is about. And since I'm telling you about my parents, let me just say this. My parents, when they came to this country legally when they came to the United States. Now look, a smart immigration policy can make our country stronger. A dumb immigration policy will make our country weaker. Today we've got a dumb immigration policy. We're letting dictators walk all over us. We can't safeguard our secrets, and we won't secure our border. I'm here to tell you we've got to get a couple of things done. We don't need any more speeches from Washington, D.C. We don't need any more 1,000-page bills. It is time, once and for all, to secure the southern border. Make no mistake about this, we could get this done in 6 months. Now, it wouldn't be perfect, but we could get this done in 6 months. All these politicians in D.C., they'll give you 100 excuses why we can't do this. Let's be honest. We got some big business interests there that don't want to get this done. They want amnesty, they want open borders. It is time to fire the folks in D.C. and get this done. And we need to put an end to this nonsense called sanctuary cities. Wants to defund them, that does not go far enough. I've got a package called Partners in Crime. Let us hold these mayors and councilmen as accessories to the crimes committed by folks that shouldn't be. Let me say this about immigration. The left, they don't like us to be the melting pot. America has proudly been the melting pot for years. What that means is that we tell folks, if you want to come here, you should want to be an American if you come here. There are millions of people who want to come to our country. Why would we insist on that? But now the left is telling us, you can't be the melting pot. That is culturally arrogant. That is xenophobic. We should be the salad bowl. Look, we got a president, the divider-in-chief that keeps trying to divide us. I'm here to tell you something. I am done with the hyphenated Americans. African Americans, we're not Asian Americans, we're not rich Americans, we're not poor Americans, we're all Americans united as one. I think it is reasonable to tell folks, if you want to come to our country, come legally, learn English. Adopt our values, and when you get here, roll up your sleeves and get to work. We have got to insist on assimilation. Make no mistake about it, immigration without assimilation, that's not immigration. Immigration without assimilation is invasion. What's happening in Europe, second, third generation immigrants that don't consider themselves parts of those societies or cultures. We must not let that happen here in America. certainly must not let people come and use our freedoms to undermine the same freedoms we give to everybody in our society and our country. I want to switch gears now and talk to you about how we must apply our own principles. And let me start with an example. We've got to repeal and replace every single word of Obamacare. Now, for over a year, I've been the only person, the only one that has offered a detailed plan on how to repeal and replace Obamacare. Now, I'm glad that a second candidate for president has actually offered his own plan. Scott Walker has offered his plan. Before I talk about that, I want to ask a couple of questions just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. First, I want to ask you this. I want to ask you, do you agree with me that our federal government should not be creating a new entitlement program when we can't afford the entitlement programs we've already got? How many of you disagree with that and think the government should be creating new entitlement programs? All right, I see a couple of reporters back there, but that's fine. All right, my second question. No, they didn't really raise their hands. I'm just teasing. My second question. How many of you think your government should be raising our taxes in order for the government to subsidize universal coverage for every American? How many of you agree that how many agree the government should not be raising our taxes to subsidize universal coverage for every American? Now, how many of you disagree that the government should be raising our taxes and guaranteeing universal coverage, subsidizing for every American? Well, there may be a couple of Democratic trackers back there, and that's about it. All right. Good. Well, I got good news and bad news for you. The good news is the plan that I offered does not create a new entitlement program, and it does not have the government subsidize and guarantee universal coverage for every American. Instead, my plan focuses on the real issue, which is reducing costs in the healthcare system. Here's the bad news. Scott Walker's plan actually does create a new entitlement program. It actually does guarantee universal coverage through government subsidies for every American. One estimate this week says it would cost over $1 trillion. And he doesn't tell us how he would pay for this plan. Now, I'm not here just to pick on Scott, so let me stop doing that. But let me do say this. Let me make a bigger point. It is time for conservatives. It is time for us to stand for our own principles. Now, what do I mean by that? You may have heard Jeb Bush say that we've got to be willing to lose the primary in order to win the general election. I disagree with that. Let me translate that for you. That is the establishment telling us conservatives hide your beliefs. Hide your principles. Try to get the media, try to get the left to like you. I'm here to tell you folks, that never works. If we do that again, we will lose again, and we will deserve to lose again. When did we as conservatives decide it was time to quit fighting for our principles? I don't know about you, but I never got that memo. I don't know about you, but only in D.C. is losing a good thing. Let's be honest, we've got a bunch of conservative professionals, conservative politicians in D.C. that aren't conservative at all. They celebrated when the Supreme Court upheld Obamacare because they didn't want to repeal Obamacare. They didn't want to, look, they are scared to fight against government dependence. They are scared to fight against another new entitlement program. They are scared to fight for freedom and a smaller, less intrusive government. It is time to fire the Let's stop trying to be a second Democratic Party. Let's stop trying to be cheaper Democrats. Let's stop trying to be a liberal party. Let us stand up for freedom. Let us stand up for limited government. Let us stand up for an American dream where the aspiration is not to be dependent on government. We don't promise that government will take care of you. We promise that we will give you the opportunity so that you can take care of yourselves. That's the American dream. President Obama, Hillary Clinton, they're trying to turn the American dream into the European nightmare. Let's give Bernie Sanders credit. At least he's honest enough to call himself a socialist. The others aren't any better. They're just not honest about it. Now look, you're going to hear a lot of great candidates and great speakers running for president. And they will give great speeches. The problem is we already have a great speaker in the White House. We don't need another great speaker. We need a doer. We got plenty of candidates who'll give you red meat applause lines, but folks, I'm here to tell you this. I've got the backbone, I've got the bandwidth, I've got the experience to get this job done for the first time. I don't have a famous last name. My dad wasn't president. I don't have my own reality TV show. I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the best looking candidate. But I am ready on the first day. The reason that's important, our next commander-in-chief will be across the table from Putin, from an Ayatollah. He better not need a teleprompter. I am the candidate best prepared to hit the ground running on that first day. Listen to every candidate talk about the need to cut government spending. And they're exactly right. 9 governors or former governors are running for president on the Republican side. Exactly 1 has actually cut government spending. And you're looking at it right now. Everybody talks about it, but they don't do it. We got a bunch of senators running. Nobody in D.C. has ever cut government spending. Look, they give great speeches, they filibuster, and I'm proud they have large bladders. But that is not enough. We've got a first-term senator in the White House today. We cannot afford 4 more years of on-the-job training. In my state, we did the hard work. We cut our budget 26%. 30,000 fewer state government bureaucrats than the day I took office. A credit upgrades, top 10 state for private sector job creation. I don't think anybody has cut as much government spending anywhere, anytime, in any place. And the reason this is important, folks, it's not enough to send just any Republican to the White House. I'm here to tell you, we need to elect somebody who will do and say things you're not supposed to be able to do and say. If you're looking for somebody who will simply manage the decline of this once great country, vote for somebody else. But if you're looking for somebody who will take on that professional political class, somebody who will go in there and say, we were never supposed to have permanent politicians. We are going to force term limits down their throats. Let us make them listen to us. Let us make them live under the same rules, the same laws they apply for the rest of us. Let us stop them from becoming highly paid lobbyists who will only listen to the special interest. It is time for the Republican Party to fight for our principles, and remember, American economy. It is either or. You've got to choose. Hillary Clinton, she wants to grow the government economy. And folks, that leads me to say something that I hope I don't offend anybody, and I know this is politically incorrect, and I'm going to say it anyway. The idea of America is slipping away right in front of our eyes. The left and the media, they don't want to acknowledge that, but you and I know that to be true. Look, it's too tempting, it's too easy for many of us as Americans to take America for granted. But I'm the son of the immigrants. My mom, my dad, they never take this country for granted. Every day they are grateful to be in the greatest country in the history of the world. But they came for freedom and opportunity, not government dependence. Look at what we have seen these last 7 years. Things we never thought would be possible. You've got the Planned Parenthood folks using our federal taxpayer dollars to dismember babies and to sell their organs across the country. By the way, I kicked them out of Medicaid, canceled their contract in Louisiana. Set up some nice video screens for them so they can watch those videos uncovered. We've been the most pro-life state 6 years in a row, and I'm here to tell you Planned Parenthood should not get another dime. I said during the presidential debate I will send the IRS and the Department of Justice to investigate them. They better hope Hillary Clinton wins. The media didn't like that. They said, Governor, you can't say that. So let me be clear. I will send the IRS, the Department of Justice, the EPA, OSHA, and every other government agency I can find to investigate Planned Parenthood. What's happening in our country? You can't make this up. $18 trillion of debt. A president who declares war on trans fats and truce with Iran, the largest sponsor of terrorism. You've got a president who won't stand with Israel. You've got a government that creates an entitlement program when we can't afford the ones we've got today. You've got a president who won't even say the words radical Islamic terrorism. Crusaders. But he won't say that Islam has a problem, and that problem is radical Islam. We've got a president we've got the EPA trying to regulate the water in our backyards. We've got a president, in the last 7 years, we've seen the IRS going after conservative groups for their beliefs. We've got the Supreme Court that thinks they're smarter than you and me, and that they're smarter than God, and that they should be able to redefine marriage. Got a left that is trying to take God out of the public square, take away our First and Second Amendment rights. Folks, you can't make this up. The idea of America is slipping away in front of us. By the way, I've got a deal for the president. I will protect my own children from Oreos and microwave popcorn. If he will do his job and hunt down and kill those radical Islamic terrorists, civilization in the history of the world has done more for freedom for people than any other civilization in the world. The idea of America that has fought for right in areas where there has been darkness, the idea of America is slipping away right in front of us. Shame on